Human trafficking. What exactly is it? What do I need to know about it? How do I recognize it? And what do I do if I think I might have witnessed it? First, let's define human trafficking. It's a rather broad term encompassing several different illegal or immoral acts. In its simplest definition, human trafficking is the illegal trade of human beings against their will for the purposes of sexual exploitation, forced labor, or modern-day slavery. It's especially concerning when it involves the exploitation of children. Believe it or not, human trafficking has become a very lucrative worldwide industry and is believed to be second only to drug trafficking as the most profitable illegal industry in the world. Authorities estimate that between 600,000 and 800,000 people are trafficked across borders every year. Often these victims are lured into a promise of a better life or a job offer, many times involving travel to another country, only to be forced into a situation they are unable to escape from. The Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000 makes this activity a federal crime in the United States. Many organizations, including hotels, airlines, and others, are stepping up to help combat this growing problem. This is where you come in. You need to know about human trafficking. But why you, the hotel associate? What do you have to do with the problem? It's simple. Law enforcement sources have indicated the illegal transportation of humans from one location to another is often facilitated through the use of hotels as stopover points. Additionally, sexual exploitation has been known to sometimes occur in hotel rooms and hotel lounges. So then you may be asking, how do I recognize signs of human trafficking? Some signs of potential trafficking in hotels might include these traits: inability to state a home address, confusion about what city they are in, inconsistencies in their reason for staying at the hotel, not being allowed to speak for themselves. Another party may insist on speaking for them, not having any or very few personal possessions, does not control their own identification documents, shows signs of physical or mental abuse, avoids eye contact, appears overly anxious or paranoid. Hotel rooms where minors are coming and going at all hours. So now that you have some basic knowledge of what human trafficking is and how to recognize some potential signs, what should you do if you think you have witnessed possible trafficking or a related crime? First and foremost, do not overreact. You should not assume these signs mean a guest is engaged in illegal activity, and never suggest that directly to a guest. What you can do is report the situation, along with a description of any unusual behaviors you have witnessed to hotel management or security. Secondly, document any unusual and suspicious behaviors, conversations, or activities, and pass those along with your concerns to management. If there is sufficient cause to alert law enforcement, let management or security handle that. They are trained in how to respond to these suspicions. Remember, identifying and reporting potential human trafficking should be a part of everyone's responsibility. As a frontline hotel associate, you may be in a unique position to identify illegal activity early on, and that could be the difference. Now let's look at a few scenarios where human trafficking could be an issue. An older male is checking in at the front desk with two people who appear to be minors. The older male does all the talking during the check-in process and even tells the others to hush up when they begin to whisper to each other. As they depart the front desk, one of the younger ones appears to be crying and looks back at you with a pleading, frightened glance. Does this arouse any suspicions in you? If so, is it possible this could be a human trafficking situation? What red flags do you see that would lead you to think this could be human trafficking? What actions, if any, should you take at this point? This could be a completely harmless situation, such as a grandfather or father taking his two unruly children or grandchildren on a vacation. Or it could be something else entirely. Remember, we don't want to falsely accuse anyone, but this situation would be best reported to management to keep an eye out for any other problems that could emerge. As the hotel operator, you receive a call from someone in room 212, which is registered to a lone individual male. The man on the phone has two requests: First, that he wants no service of any kind during his stay, and second, that he wants to know if the audiovisual department can provide a commercial-grade video camera for him during his stay. You call down to housekeeping and pass along his request for no service when the housekeeping supervisor informs you that she has received complaints from her floor housekeepers of minor children coming and going at all hours. She has not reported it previously because she knows guests should be allowed their privacy. Does this arouse any suspicions of human trafficking or sexual exploitation? Is it possible this could be a human trafficking situation? Why or why not? How would it change your opinion if you had seen older males coming to the desk at different times asking for directions to room 212? What actions should you consider at this point? Again, remember, this could be a perfectly harmless situation, but it probably does merit reporting to management or security. Remember, it's not your responsibility to remedy the situation, but it is your responsibility to report it. We'd rather have you report it and find out it's nothing than ignore potentially illegal behavior. The purpose of this training is not to scare you, but rather to make you aware of a troubling trend in human trafficking that needs everyone's assistance to stop it from occurring. The travel industry is on the front line in this effort, and as a representative of your hotel, you play an important role. Human trafficking is happening somewhere right now, and right now, someone has the ability to stop it. Is that person you? Maybe, maybe not. That's why it's so important for you to remain aware. Keep your eyes open. Remember, do not overreact. Never suggest any suspicions directly to a guest. If you notice a situation which seems suspicious, report it. If you have a question, ask. Remember, someone's freedom may be depending on you. Thank you for your time and attention to this important topic. There are many different safety considerations you need to think about on your job every day. People who work in housekeeping have specific duties and responsibilities. The kitchen staff has their own set of rules and regulations relating to their work. Workers in the maintenance shop face an entirely different hazards than those working in the laundry. There is, however, one safety concern that applies to everyone, and that is safe lifting. Whether you work in housekeeping, the kitchen, or maintenance, you need to learn safe lifting techniques and practice them every time you lift anything. It's vital to your own safety and health. Remember, the only person that can prevent back injuries is you. The property can provide you with training and information, but it's really up to you. After all, you're the one who does the lifting, and only you can make sure you do it right. You might ask why safe lifting is so important. It's a common question, and the answer is simple. Unsafe lifting causes back injuries. That's a fact that cannot be denied. You may have been lifting incorrectly for years, but it only takes one unsafe lift to seriously injure your back. Is it really worth the risk? A back injury can result in severe pain, time off from work, reduced pay, and painful rehabilitation. Smart people lift safely. Your spine or backbone is a very sensitive part of your body. It provides your body with good flexibility and good back posture. The spine is made up of vertebrae or bones separated by discs. These discs act as a cushioning agent between the vertebrae and allow your back to remain flexible. Improper lifting can damage 3 different components of your back. Over the years, incorrect lifting procedures can cause degeneration of spinal discs. This condition is permanent and very serious. The muscles and ligaments in your back are designed to stretch when you move, but overstretching can cause the muscles to tear. It's easy to see why safe lifting techniques are so important. The basic safe lifting procedure is simple and easy to understand. To begin, place your feet close to the item you are going to lift. Squat down, close to the object, keeping your back in its natural curvature. Get a good grip on the object. Next, bring the item close to your body to reduce the stress caused by the 10-to-1 lever principle. Once you have the item close to your body, stand up keeping your back as straight as possible. That's the basic safe lifting technique, and it does work. Let's take a quick look at a complete safe lift to show you again the proper method. Remember, bend your legs, not your back. But in a hotel environment, you're not always just picking up a box. This is where your common sense and good judgment comes to play. If at any time you feel an item is too heavy to lift or move alone, ask for help. Don't try to lift it alone. Twisting your back while lifting can also create back problems. You should never twist while lifting anything. This point is often overlooked because people are busy trying to get the job done, and sometimes they forget about safety. Instead of twisting your back, pick the item up, pivot your feet, then set the item down. Or rearrange the items to reduce the need to twist. This simple method can save you a lot of potential pain and agony. Don't overstretch your back. We realize that you must stretch to a certain degree to perform your job in an efficient manner. But there's no reason to overstretch. Stretching too far can damage muscles and stretch ligaments in your back. When making a bed, don't bend over when tucking the sheets under the mattress. Squat down and then tuck in the sheets. It doesn't take any more time and it protects your back. If you have to lift something over your head, do so very carefully. Lift the item from the ground and set it on the shelf or other mid-level surface. Then, reposition your grip and carefully lift the item over your head. Safe lifting procedures should never be ignored. Even if the item you lift is lightweight, such as bed linens, procedures must be followed. Bend your legs, keeping your back in its natural curvature, and then lift the item. If at any time you have a question about your ability to perform a lift safely, stop and ask your supervisor. They would rather show you the right way than lose a valuable associate. Also, push carts. Pulling a cart places undue stress on your back, arms, and shoulders. Push the cart. The point we want to stress most is personal responsibility. You and no one else are responsible for the health and condition of your back. If you practice safe lifting techniques, it will greatly reduce your risk of injury, and you'll be a safer and more professional associate. Nobody else can do it for you. A healthy and pain-free back is a luxury taken for granted by many individuals. Don't take your health for granted. Follow the safe lifting techniques outlined in this program, and you'll be doing your part to prevent back injury. Remember, bend your legs, not your back. Don't overstretch. Avoid twisting while lifting. And get help with heavy or awkward items.
As we go through our workday, we touch a lot of surfaces, some of which might be contaminated. Millions of workers every day are at risk from contaminations called blood-borne pathogens. Blood-borne pathogens are present in infected human blood and certain other bodily fluids, and some of them carry potentially fatal diseases. No matter what kind of work you do, you should always be aware of the risk of exposure to blood-borne pathogens, because when you know the risk, you can take precautions. You can be exposed to a blood-borne pathogen by touching an infected person or their secretions, or you can be exposed by touching something that has been contaminated by an infected person. So how do you protect yourself? You have to understand that something can be contaminated and the infected organism may not be visible. For example, linens, tabletops, washrooms, door handles, anything that may have been used or touched by someone else can spread a dangerous germ or virus. When you come into contact with an infected surface, the organism can transfer to you. Once it is on your body, any body opening can allow this pathogen to enter your system. This includes your nose, mouth, eyes, other body openings, any mucous membranes, and any cuts, abrasions, or any other breaks in the skin. For example, if an infected person coughs or sneezes on a table which is not cleaned after use, and then you touch the table with your hands, the infection may now be on your hands. If you rub your eyes or eat anything, the infection can pass into your system. This can be prevented by following simple guidelines that will protect you from exposure. You don't know if someone with a contagious disease has touched a surface, so good hand washing is the first and most effective method to prevent spreading infections. Always treat blood, body fluids, broken skin, and mucous membranes as if they were infected, and use proper gloves before cleaning anything that may have been exposed. Wash your hands before putting on gloves and immediately after removing them. If soap and water is not available, you can use a waterless hand sanitizer. Never touch clean objects with contaminated gloves, and avoid touching your face, eyes, nose, or mouth until after you have washed your hands. Protect yourself from bloodborne pathogens, use appropriate disinfecting agents, and use proper hand washing techniques. Thanks for watching, and have a safe day.
Fire prevention is another important aspect of the safety of your property. A fire in a hotel can have devastating effects, and we all need to do what we can to make sure a fire never happens. Your property is equipped with many life-saving measures such as fire alarms, sprinklers, emergency lights, and exit lights. These should be functioning properly at all times. If you notice fire safety equipment that is damaged or malfunctioning, notify your supervisor immediately. Familiarize yourself with the emergency evacuation map and know what route to take in the event of a fire or other emergency taking place. Keep all hallways, stairwells, and emergency exits clear at all times to ensure safe evacuation. Nothing should ever be stored in stairwells. There are many things you can do to help prevent a fire. Keep storage areas clean and well organized. Never store anything within 3 feet of an electrical panel or closet. Keep electrical panels closed and latched when not in use. Also, keep materials at least 18 inches below automatic sprinkler heads. Store all flammable liquids in approved storage cabinets. Be sure you smoke only in designated areas. Smoking in non-smoking areas can lead to accidental fires. Please dispose of smoking material carefully. If you should be the first to discover a fire, remember the term CARE. Contain the fire by closing doors and sealing off the affected areas. Activate the alarm at the nearest manual pull station. These are typically located next to exit and stairwell doors. Report the fire using a house or guest phone. Evacuate the area. Knock on guest room doors and assist guests to the exits. If you hear a fire alarm, always assume the threat is real. Remain calm. Don't panic. If you work at the front desk, call 911 to report the alarm. If you are working in other areas of the hotel, help clear the corridors. Assist with the evacuation if possible, to help ensure all guests and employees make their way out of the building. Everyone should gather at their established rally point so that a roll call can be taken to ensure everyone is accounted for. You should know where fire extinguishers are located and how to use them. In the event of a fire, personal safety is the most important concern. If there's any doubt about the safety or you're unsure about using an extinguisher, leave the area and the fire suppression activities to the professionals. If you can extinguish a small fire safely, remember the word PASS. Pull the pin. Aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. Squeeze the handle on the extinguisher and sweep the nozzle from side to side. Odds are you'll never experience a fire in your facility, but that doesn't lessen the need for effective preparedness and fire prevention. Do your part to keep your property safe from the threat of fire. Remember, keep storage areas clean and well organized. Never store anything within 3 feet of an electrical panel or closet. Store all flammable liquids in approved storage cabinets. If you hear a fire alarm, always assume the threat is real. Know where fire extinguishers are located and how to use them.
We live in a world of chemicals. Our bodies produce and use chemicals. Plants and trees produce them. Even water is a chemical compound. Other chemicals in our world are man-made synthetic compounds. Although we don't know exactly how many man-made chemicals are in use today, experts generally agree it could be more than 100,000. Gasoline, paints, household cleaners, detergents, toiletries, wipes, solvents, everyday products used at home or work are made of chemicals. Before using any chemical product, you should find out all you can about it, and this information is literally at your fingertips in free publications called Safety Data Sheets, or SDSs. OSHA's Hazard Communication Standard requires chemical manufacturers, distributors, or importers to provide safety data sheets, formerly known as Material Safety Data Sheets, or MSDSs, to communicate the hazards of chemical products. All safety data sheets are required to follow a specific format and provide detailed information in 16 different sections. To protect yourself, your coworkers, and your family members, here are the top 10 things you should look for on a product safety data sheet. What is the emergency phone number? If someone is injured, hurt, falls ill, or poisoned by a chemical product, who would we call to get more information? You can be sure emergency medical personnel, especially physicians and nurses, will want to see the safety data sheet. The manufacturer or distributor's name, address, and phone number is required to be right up front in Section 1, along with 24/7 emergency phone numbers. What is this product recommended for, and are there any restrictions on its use? This information is also required to be included in Section 1. How dangerous is this product? Statements like causes irreversible eye damage, highly flammable, and can cause central nervous system damage appear on safety data sheets even for seemingly harmless everyday household products. Section 2 is called Hazards Identification, and it is required to include all hazards regarding the chemical. What do you do if the product gets in your eyes, on your skin? What if you inhale or swallow some? Section 4, First Aid Measures, lists the signs and symptoms of exposure to the chemicals and whether the effects are usually immediate or delayed, and the appropriate first aid measures to take. If the product is accidentally spilled or otherwise released from its container, how do we clean it up? What materials can we use? And how do we dispose of everything properly? Should we wear masks or gloves, eye protection? All this should be listed under Section 6, Accidental Release Measures. Are there any specific cautions we should be aware of to make sure we are safely handling and storing the containers of this product? Is it dangerous to store in certain places or near other chemicals or products? Does it have to be in a temperature-controlled environment? Section 7, Handling and Storage, provides this information. When using this product, what personal protective equipment should we be using? Should we use special gloves, splash goggles, or protective clothing? What should we do to prevent exposure to any hazardous chemicals in the product? Will we need to provide extra ventilation? Section 8, Exposure Controls, Personal Protection, tells us what we need to do to engineer a safe environment when using the chemical. What does the product look like? What color is it? Does it have a distinctive odor? Are the vapors heavier or lighter than air? At what temperature will it ignite? Is it an acid or alkali? Section 9, Physical and Chemical Properties, lists the chemical characteristics we should know. What other materials should never be mixed with this product? Can it become unstable if exposed to heat, light, or anything else? Could this product react with other materials like metals, causing it to decompose into a dangerous, hazardous chemical? Some chemicals, when combined with certain others, can cause an explosion or fire. Section 10, Stability and Reactivity, outlines these cautions along with any known hazardous reactions. One of the most important sections of the SDS is Section 11, Toxicological Information. Could repeated exposures to this product cause allergic reactions? Are there any short or long-term health effects to exposure? Is this product associated with birth defects? Can exposure cause genetic mutations? Can it affect reproductive organs or the development of a fetus? By what routes can this chemical enter our bodies? And is anything in this product known to promote or cause cancers? In this short video, we will show you something most people don't realize about what causes us to trip and fall and how to avoid this dangerous hazard. Slips, trips, and falls constitute the majority of general industry accidents and result in back injuries, strains and sprains, contusions, and fractures. A trip happens when your foot or lower leg hits an object and stops, but your upper body continues moving, resulting in loss of balance. But first, let's understand one very important thing that we all have in common. Can you tell what it is? When a person takes a step, their foot comes off the ground about half an inch before it steps back down again. Therefore, anything that sticks up a half inch or more can cause you to trip, and then your momentum can cause you to fall. If you're lucky, you'll walk away with a few bumps and bruises, but for the not so lucky, falls result in 15% of all accidental deaths and are second only to motor vehicles as a cause of fatalities. What did you trip over the last time you fell? People tend to trip over things that we see all the time but don't normally notice. Things like a slightly curled up edge of a carpet or mat, extension cords, uneven walking surfaces like cracks in sidewalks or other walking surfaces, thresholds in doorways, tools, even those cute little pets snoozing in doorways cause hundreds of falls every day. Can you spot the trip hazards in this photo? Here's one where the surface changes elevation about an inch, and another change in elevation. Would you see this one? And two more changes in elevation, each more than half an inch. Anywhere you see a crack in a walking surface lurks a potential trip hazard. This is a joint in the sidewalk. Hard to see, but the difference here is almost 3/4 of an inch, more than enough to cause a fall. But can you see the other hazard? Here, almost invisible, but the crack should be enough to warn you. The elevation here changes only slightly, but enough to cause a hazard. We can get so used to hazards we forget they're there. This one was painted yellow, but it's been scuffed over so many times it's getting harder to see. A common type of hazard is any area where one type of walking surface ends and another begins, like where carpeting meets tile, or the edge of a parking lot. Sharp, unexpected changes in elevation are particularly dangerous. This one's much bigger than half an inch. A warning could save a terrible injury or even a life, maybe your own. A simple door threshold sticks up enough to trip anyone walking in or out. Hazards hide in plain sight, especially if the lighting is bad or if we are doing something that blocks our vision. Pay attention. If you're walking and texting, reading, daydreaming, or doing anything other than not paying attention to where your feet are going, you might as well be walking blindfolded because your eyes are not working for you, they're distracted. You can avoid injury because tripping and falling is preventable. Keep in mind that it's the little things we don't normally look for that can hurt us the most. As you're walking today, how many trip hazards can you spot? At work, at home, in the parking lot, or wherever you go. Remember, it only takes half an inch to change your day for the worse. Use your eyes and be aware of those little trip hazards as you walk. Thanks for watching and have a safe day.
wouldn't think of going fishing without bringing along the right tools for the job, would you? Then why go to work without wearing the correct PPE for whatever job you do? What's that? Glad you asked. Personal protective equipment includes things like hard hats, safety goggles, hearing protection, gloves, high visibility vests, work boots, fall protection, and more. PPE can prevent painful and possibly crippling injuries while you work. After all, nobody wants to get hit by a falling object, poked in the eyes, burned by chemicals, or fall into a deep hole. Right? Right. It's important to choose the correct PPE for the types of hazards you encounter on your job, whatever your job might be, from medical technician to construction worker, auto body finisher, or even landscaping contractor. There can be dangerous conditions that require personal protective equipment that not only fits you well, but is also in good working order without cracks, tears, or holes. Yikes! There may not be anything that can protect you from a shirt that loud. No, that probably won't help. But regardless of your supervisor's taste and fashion, if you have any questions about the type or quality of PPE that's right for your job, he or she is the one you should talk to. You can also consult your company's employee manual or even look at OSHA regulations online. Remember, everyone has the right to work in a safe and healthful environment. Access to correct, well-maintained, and well-fitted personal protective equipment is an important part of that right. The point is, wherever you work and whatever you do, there should be a culture of safety at your workplace. One that's enforced and encouraged every day. No excuses, no exceptions. So be sure to take these steps. Learn about specific hazards you encounter on the job. Choose the proper personal protective equipment made to guard against those hazards. Make sure that your PPE is in good working order and that everything fits you comfortably so you can wear it every day. After all, you don't work to get hurt. You work so that you can enjoy your life with friends and family. Hey, nice catch! For more on workplace safety,
Don't fall from a ladder. Don't use the wrong ladder. Before use, always inspect a ladder for cracks and loose rungs. Choose a ladder that is long enough so that you can stay off the top rungs. When climbing or descending, always use 3 points of contact. Don't overreach. Gravity will pull you down. Be sure of your balance by keeping your belt buckle between the rails. A ladder should have secure, unbroken safety feet. Use a board on soft earth or anywhere you need to securely level the feet. Always be mindful of the 4-to-1 rule. Set the ladder 1 foot out for every 4 feet up to the point of support. Rungs are 1 foot apart, so it's easy to figure the angle. After inspecting your ladder, take any ladder out of service if it has broken or missed rungs, broken or split side rails, or any other faulty or defective construction. Ladder feet must be placed on a substantial base, and the area around the top and bottom of the ladder shall be kept clear. Ladders are not made to be used in a horizontal position as platforms, runways, or scaffolds. Ladders should not be placed in passageways, doorways, driveways, or any location where they may be hit or disturbed by other activities. Other workers and other people are not going to watch out for you, so if you have to set up in a common area, protect yourself and your ladder with barricades or guards. Inattention is the main weak spot in the defense against falls. So whatever you are doing, remember 3 rules. First of all, watch what you are doing. Stay aware of what you are doing and concentrate. And the most important rule, don't let distractions ruin your day or your life. Thanks for watching and have a safe day.
It may feel like just another day at the office, but occasionally, life feels more like an action movie than reality. The authorities are working hard to protect you and to protect our public spaces. But sometimes bad people do bad things. Their motivations are different. The warning signs may vary, but the devastating effects are the same. And unfortunately, you need to be prepared for the worst. If you were ever to find yourself in the middle of an active shooter event, your survival may depend on whether or not you have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be complicated. There are 3 things you could do that make a difference: run, hide, fight. First and foremost, if you can get out, do. Always try and escape or evacuate, even when others insist on staying. Encourage others to leave with you, but don't let them slow you down with indecision. Remember what's important: you, not your stuff. Leave your belongings behind and try to find a way to get out safely. Trying to get yourself out of harm's way needs to be your #1 priority. Once you are out of the line of fire, try to prevent others from walking into the danger zone and call 911. If you can't get out safely, you need to find a place to hide. Act quickly and quietly. Try to secure your hiding place the best you can. Turn out lights, and if possible, remember to lock doors. Silence your ringer and vibration mode on your cell phone. And if you can't find a safe room or closet, try to conceal yourself behind large objects that may protect you. Do your best to remain quiet and calm. As a last resort, if your life is at risk, whether you are alone or working together as a group, fight. Act with aggression. Improvise weapons. Disarm him. And commit to taking the shooter down, no matter what. Try to be aware of your environment. Always have an exit plan. Know that in an incident like this, victims are generally chosen randomly. The event is unpredictable and may evolve quickly. The first responders on the scene are not there to evacuate or tend to the injured. They are well trained and are there to stop the shooter. Your actions can make a difference for your safety and survival. Be aware and be prepared. And if you find yourself facing an active shooter, there are 3 key things you need to remember to survive. Run, hide, fight.